episode 100, how to maintain 100% effort on your financial journey.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast, where you'll learn to save money, embrace simplicity, and live a richer life. Here are your hosts, Jen and Jill.
Welcome to another episode of the Frugal Friends podcast. My name is Jen.
My name is Jill.
And it's episode 100.
What'd you say?
100.
I said 100.
100.
Cool. Yes.
I'm embarrassed. Anyways.
Oh, we're into the 3 digits on these episodes, and we got a good one for you.
Yes, 100 episodes, and we still can't stay in sync. But it's what you love about us, and it's why you've listened for
100 days.
100 hours.
Yes.
So, I mean, we're not bringing you anything different, but the best.
So we kind of are.
We are bringing you something super unique in the lightning round. You are not going to want to miss it. You're going to want to listen to everything about
the lightning round.
Yes,
is
the lightning
gonna
round
be
especially.
the most insane lightning round we've had yet. So I'm just going to leave it there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're so excited.
Before then, though, we are sharing tips for motivation and focus for a long financial journey, because life is a financial journey. We're not just talking about paying off debt, saving an emergency fund, saving for a down payment. Like, life is a financial journey.
You're always going to be dealing with money.
You're always going to have some goal you're trying to reach,
Yeah.
hopefully. So these are tips for motivation and focus.
Yeah. But first, a word from our sponsors. The first one, good job,
Thank you.
is Empower. So Empower is an awesome mobile app that is jam-packed with features that make managing your money so much easier. It has a budgeting feature that allows you to set monthly and weekly spending limits, and it has an autosave feature that analyzes your spending and can transfer small amounts of money into your savings. These are all great, but there are 2 things that really set Empower apart. And the first is a high-yield checking account, and the other one is direct access to their financial coaches. So if you have a question, you can text them. They text you right back. They text you back during the day. When they're not sleeping.
Yeah.
They're not going to text you when they're sleeping.
No.
Because you're not going to get a good answer then. You know the kind of answers you get when people are half asleep.
Then. Yeah.
yeah. You're probably not even asking good questions in the middle of the night. Good point, Jen. So if you like what we're talking about, then download the Empower app from your app store and enter the code FRUGAL, FRUGAL, and you'll get a $5 bonus once you reach your savings goals. There is an incentive.
Yes. Today's episode is also brought to you by The Couch, that comfy, womfy cocoon calling your name after work on Saturday and all the other hours of the day that you're not in bed. Couches are designed to make you want to stay all day and binge those Netflix comedy specials you don't really care about, but you already finished the first season of The Witcher and you're waiting for season 2, so it doesn't really matter. The Couch. Don't do any of those things on your to-do list. Just sit.
Ooh, the couch is calling.
Couch, yes.
The couch is trying to pull you away from motivation.
Oh, yeah.
It's a comfy, wumpy cocoon.
It is. Their words, not mine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Their words, not mine.
It's so hard to get off the couch of your little cocoon and turn off your Netflix and actually do the work. Yes. So today we're talking about tips for motivation, whether you're just trying to stay on track or maybe you've had a setback and you're trying to regain motivation to keep going. So today's first headline is from jamesclear.com. He's the author of Atomic Habits, and it's all on the scientific guide on how to get and stay motivated. What do you think of this one, Jill?
Well, again, it focuses on science and proven ways to be motivated. It's not just some frilly pep talk. It's not flattery. You know me. If you've heard other episodes, I'm not into that. So this was super helpful to understand the psychology and science behind motivation. And I really like even just their definition of what is it. And of course, a general definition is just a general willingness to do something.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. But I like the way that this article digs deeper into it to describe it as the point when it becomes easier to change than to stay the same. And I feel like we all know what that point is, when the feelings of self-loathing on the couch are greater than the difficulty of getting something done, that eventually you stop just sitting on the couch, sorry couch, and then you go do something, whether that's work out or make a healthy meal or get at any other type of goal that you feel is healthier for you, which is interesting. It also made me think about that concept of like hitting rock bottom. Yeah, that's an extreme example, but I've even heard parents sometimes describe that they want this for their kids. Like, I want my child to reach rock bottom. Of course, when you're in a really like difficult situation. And I think it's speaking to this idea. Again, it's really dramatic, but if you when you get to that point where staying the same is more uncomfortable than making the change.
Yes. And I feel like if we understand the science behind motivation, that maybe we can just like hit like a feathery bottom before we start making changes. We don't have to wait until things are dire and we are in crisis to start making changes.
Yes.
And so I got a lot of questions about this, like day to day, like writing articles. And even in the course that I led in January, this was a big question that came up, like, how do you stay motivated even after the accountability and the lessons and all of that stuff is over? And it really comes down to taking action. So it's a misconception about motivation that it comes before starting a new behavior, but it actually comes after. So you have to start taking action in order to get motivated. So this is a big reason why the Debt Snowball is so successful, because you get to take action and see results after a short period of time, and that is what creates motivation. So it's the same with anything. You want to just start moving, see the smallest win, and that gets you to keep going. And win after win after win is what builds this momentum.
It's like a fanning into flame. Like, you start with a little spark, and then you add kindling, and then you add some oxygen, and it just kind of grows. Like, you get the motivation as you're going because you see what it's producing, the fruit that it's bearing.
So, if you take nothing else away from this episode, it's that the first step to being motivated is to take a step.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. We were just talking about this the other night over dinner, and it hit me how it is a little bit of a paradigm shift. Like, you think I just need to get motivated while you're sitting on the couch, but the reality is you grow in your motivation as you're doing, and it can build and build and build upon itself. It's really important to understand that piece. Okay, so let's get into how do we actually do this. So if we're saying to grow motivation, you've got to start by doing something, then schedule it. Like, the first thing in this article is schedule your motivation, which sounds so silly, but otherwise we will find ourselves sitting on the couch saying, oh, I got to get motivated, or waking up in the morning and saying, oh, I hope I have motivation to work out today. Well, no, it's not going to happen then. If you're just like sitting passively waiting for it to happen to you, it's not going to. Rather, they are arguing to actually schedule it. Say, I will do this thing at such and such a time. You are far more likely to do that thing than just hoping motivation rains down on you from nowhere.
Yeah, we spend all this time looking at motivational quotes on Pinterest and Instagram and trying to cultivate this motivation before we start doing something. And the real motivation comes when you actually put pencil to paper or finger to iPhone and you put it in your schedule and you make a commitment to it. You don't just gloss over its place in your schedule, but you fulfill it and you honor that commitment.
Yeah. Which leads to the next one, which is get moving. It's just as simple as that. Like actually moving towards your goal, though. So it's not saying you're actually doing that thing immediately, but you're physically taking action towards it. And it can be as tangible as a physical thing. Like I am getting moving towards the gym. I am putting pen to paper. I am putting some sort of physical action to this thing that I have now scheduled.
Yes. And one of the ways that we can do that is to use rituals. So this is one of the things that I actually went through like a whole unit in my course about how to set up habits and how to use rituals to enter into setting up those habits. So it's like a lot of people have a morning ritual.
Yeah.
If you've ever heard of the Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, that's a ritual on steroids. But yours doesn't have to be a whole acronym. It can just be something as simple as like putting the alarm clock on the other end of the room and by a glass of water. And so you have to get up, turn the alarm clock off, and drink your first 8 ounces of water immediately. And then that forces you out of bed so you don't hit the snooze button 7 times. And that can even save you money because then you have time actually to make breakfast at home instead of stopping at Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
So it's these little things that we don't necessarily associate with saving money that actually do save us money kind of, by proxy.
I love this term ritual. I think it's always connected with me, and I won't get too far off on a tangent, but rituals are a low-hanging fruit that when it comes to making anything more healthy or productive in your life, it's one of the easiest things to implement. And I know we're not talking about this here, but I just want to briefly mention that when we are in times of transition or high stress, rituals are super important. And it's a fancy way of saying schedule and regular activities and intentional things that you're doing. But they can bring so much stability into our lives, so much more consistency, which then creates greater health. So there are far extending benefits of rituals that if we can be putting them into our lives, it's going to help us stay motivated. It's going to help our relationships. It's one of the things that I feel within therapy I can hand to people and say, put rituals in your life. Have a schedule, be intentional. Of course, that looks different for everybody. Like we all have different personality types. We all have different ways that we want to approach that, but learn what it looks like for you and implement that thing. It is a low-hanging fruit and it's a tangible thing that can have phenomenal impact.
Yeah. So a ritual's place in kind of like the timeline. So the couch would represent your mind at rest. So you're not thinking about your habits or anything. The habit would be the action that saves you money. So making food at home or making a debt payment, tracking your transactions, what have you. And the ritual comes in between. The ritual is super easy to start, doesn't require any motivation. So like putting the pan on the stove. You get home and you take the pan out, you put it on the stove. You make the habit easier to start, and that's the ritual.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an easy way you can start, putting the phone on the other side of the room makes getting out of bed easier. So make the ritual something that's so stupid easy to do that you don't need motivation, but it will lead to the habit. The ritual isn't the habit itself.
Which leads to the next thing, talking about habits and habit formation. And so if we are to make a habit out of some of these pieces that we want to be moving towards, like you just said, we have to make it easy. Make it so easy that it's more difficult to say no to.
Yeah.
So for starters, I know that we'll get to this about talking about location of things, but if we put floss next to our toothbrush, right, that it makes it so much easier to form a habit out of that because it's right there. Make it so easy for yourself.
Yeah. And yeah, floss is already cut. It would be a waste not to do it.
Yeah.
You know? So
cut the floss.
Yeah.
Ooh,
and
you're going next level with it. Okay. Pre-cut floss.
Pre-cut.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know. But
you
yeah.
pay extra for that.
Or you could just cut it yourself and put it there. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
It comes at a premium.
Okay. But so these are all ways to just make the actions easier. Because when taking action is easier, then motivation is easier to maintain.
Yeah.
So habits keep us making good choices without thinking as hard about it. And while we're still having to think hard about it, rituals make habits easier to form. So we're kind of just like working backwards. We're reverse engineering our motivation, if you want to be like fancy about it.
Yeah. And with habits, so you make it easy, you get moving on it, and you follow the same pattern every single time. So yeah, make sure that it runs in a succinct order, that you can keep doing that thing. And that's what makes it a habit. That's what makes it almost muscle memory, that you wouldn't think of doing anything else. Like it is now, I don't know, you could describe this for me, whether it's a habit or a ritual, that I drink coffee every single morning and we make it at home. It rarely crosses my mind that I would actually go out and purchase coffee. It's just, I already turn on the water to boil without even thinking about it at this point.
Yeah, so like the ritual would be already getting the water into the pot to boil.
The night before.
Yeah, so that all you have to do is turn it on.
Yeah.
And for me, like I have a coffee maker, so it'd be putting the grounds in there, putting the cup underneath it, and then getting ready. So all I have to do in the morning is press play and go.
Press play.
Yeah.
So let's talk long-term motivation, since you said you got a lot of questions about that, and this article talks about it. Tell me about the Goldilocks rule.
So James Clear made this up. I'm a huge James Clear fan. I like very much fangirl because I think he's very smart, and the ideas that aren't his, he has compiled all of the good ideas into one place. So
yes.
He talks about the Goldilocks rule. Goldilocks is,
she goes in and like steals food from bears or something.
Yeah.
Which sounds really silly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But like the porridge, it's
porridge.
just, it's one
just
is
right.
too hot, one is too cold, and then the last one's just right. Or like there's a bed in one of them where it's like one's too soft, one's too hard, and the last one's
She's
just
always stealing from bears though, so I think that's really where she went wrong.
Yeah, but the idea has nothing to do with bears. It's finding something that's not too hard and it's not too easy, but it's just right on the edge of your ability. It's challenging enough that you have to work towards it, but you will be able to attain it in a reasonable amount of time, depending on your attention span. So this could be different for everyone. Maybe somebody's is a year out, maybe somebody's is 6 months. That has to do with your personality, like what your short-term goals are. So to maintain like long-term motivation, you have to keep having these goals and working to form these habits that are just on the edge of your current ability. And that's why it's important to always be reassessing, because your ability is always changing. You're always hopefully learning new things.
Right. And your goals are changing. So the way that your motivation towards those goals looks will change. Okay. So there's a whole lot more in this article that we would absolutely point you towards. He's got some really good visuals and just really good content. But let's wrap it up on this article with just what do we do when motivation fades? Because we all know that happens. That couch is backing in.
Yes. So when motivation fades, the first thing he says is Your mind is a suggestion engine. And he says, consider every thought you have as a suggestion, not an order. He says, right now, as I'm writing this, my mind is suggesting that I feel tired. It is suggesting that I give up. It is suggesting that I take an easier path. But if I pause for a moment, however, I can discover new suggestions. My mind is also suggesting I'll feel very good about accomplishing this work once it's done.
Yeah.
It is suggesting I'll respect the identity I'm building when I stick to the schedule. So he's essentially saying, like, you have power over your mind.
What?
You have power to think thoughts that are different from the ones that just pop up.
What? Say more, Jen.
Right. So the suggestions that come up in your mind are not orders. You can order your brain to think a different way. Which, if your brain's telling you you're tired, like, maybe that's one you should listen to, like, go to bed.
Your body.
Yeah.
It's probably not just your mind, it's probably your body.
Right. But, like, other things, like, I want to scroll on Facebook rather than finish this article. My mind suggests that a lot. But telling it no.
Yeah. My mind suggests that I need, like, chocolate after every meal. And then I usually tell it no.
Usually.
Yes. But I like that. And again, we could have episodes upon episodes of some of these very same concepts. And one of them is perspective.
Yeah.
This is just a perspective shift to say that the thoughts that come into our mind are suggestions that we don't have to obey all the time, or that we can reason with, or that we can choose differently, or that we can negotiate with. Is, holy smokes, that's powerful. Like, no, I don't have to buy that thing. I just want to. Or, no, I don't have to go to bed right now. I can in 10 minutes. Let me get myself to a good point. Like, whatever it is, we don't have to be a slave to just, like, whatever pops into our heads.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, moving on. What
Good
else
word,
to do?
good word.
So, yes, that is a tangible. It's a perspective shift, but that's a tangible of what to do when motivation wanes. Recognize, what are your thoughts? Because our thoughts lead to feelings, lead to behaviors. So catch it at the thought level.
Yeah.
There's some CBT therapy for you. Okay, next is discomfort is temporary. This is, again, another place where we're catching it in our thoughts to be able to say, I don't like this right now. I'm running a lot and my legs burn. It's temporary. This too shall pass.
Yes.
This will end. And then you're going to be so thrilled that you did this thing. So keep going.
Yeah.
Know that it's temporary.
And you'll never regret good work once it's done. That's the next thing. You know that you'll be proud of yourself. We all know why we're doing what we're doing. Like, defining your why is the first thing you do when you're trying to, reach a financial goal. But it's actually, like, doing the steps that get you there that are obviously difficult.
Yeah.
So just know, like, it's life, and you're gonna really love it when it's over.
And getting good at this, all these things that we've described will only benefit literally every single aspect of your life. The way that this article wraps up is just talking about life being a constant balance between giving into the ease of distraction or overcoming the pain of discipline.
Yeah.
That's always and forever. So it's not as if we're ever going to arrive or do this perfectly, but this is the definition of what it means to live. I mean, there's a lot of definitions, but this is a good way of describing it. This will always be present. So let's work to get good at it and actually be proud of the things that we're setting our hands to. You can choose to sit on the couch. Like, that's fine. Just sit on the couch, watch Netflix. You can do that. Is that the best use of your time? It is your life, but spend it in a way that's going to make you feel proud. Yeah.
And sometimes there are times where you need rest, you need that self-care.
Yeah.
But finding balance is a constant struggle. You're always going to be looking, like, to where do I need to rest and to where do I need to work. So we can't give you the answer to what that ratio is for you. But just be self-aware and take a note of your time. Keep track of your schedule, not your ideal schedule, but what your time and actions actually look like on a day-to-day basis, so that you can begin to gauge whether you are resting too much or working too much.
Yeah.
So, or being, even when you're working, if you're being productive in that time or not.
Yeah, just do the next best thing, the low-hanging fruit, what's right in front of you.
And that'll lead to bigger things.
So let's talk about, fantastic article. Let's move into our next one. It comes from Stunning Motivation, and it goes through 10 tips on how to change your environment for greater motivation. So I love what this is talking about because, again, more tangible. I always love the tangibles. Like, okay, but what does this mean for me? What do we got to do? And so there's 10. We're not going to go through all 10, but we've picked some of our favorites. So what do you got? What stood out at you, Jen, on this one?
Yeah, after reading James's article on motivation, something he made clear is that what your success comes down to is less of your actions and more of your environment. So your environment sets up how you are prone to act and whether you reach motivation. So this is really, how do we build an environment that supports our action and motivation?
Do it next to a crib.
Do it next to a crib.
That's what we're doing right now.
It
This
gives
is
me a
our
sense
environment.
of urgency because I know my child is going to come home soon, and I work faster. I do work faster now that I am a parent. Like, I only have like 15-minute increments here and there, or like a nap time.
How to do it wisely.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Jen and I are recording this podcast together. We're in the same room, which is amazing. And also in the same space that your child
If you're
sleeps.
watching us on YouTube, you'll see where we're at. So go check us out there if you want to see behind the scenes.
Yeah, Frugal Friends YouTube channel. What?
The first part to building a motivational environment is to improve your overall physical environment. So it could be as simple as creating a vision board, maybe some inspirational posters, whatever, something to trigger what reminds you of like why you're doing it, a picture of your family. A study has discovered that while a messy and disorganized desk promotes creativity, a clean and organized desk promotes productivity and focus. So that's a quote from the article, and it's another reason why we think like minimalism and simplicity is so important, because when you have fewer things, it is easier to maintain a clean and organized space, and that is what produces productivity and focus.
Interesting about the creativity, though. You could have a messy space and that would promote creativity.
I see that.
I do see that.
Because then you can just, there's so many things to look at, to be inspired by.
Yeah.
But
if you're trying to get at just productivity and focus,
that's not what you need.
Make it more organized.
Yeah.
I like number 2 on here, which talks about staying away from distractions. So finding a place where you can kind of bunker down and not get pulled in a lot of different directions, which I realized this one firsthand when we started renting our office space. I used to work out of the camper, and some days I still do, but I didn't realize how much I would get pulled away from my work by little tasks. Like I'd get up to throw something out, and then I'd be like, I wouldn't even think about it. I would already be up and walking around. So now I saw something else on the floor and I'm pulling out a paper towel and I'm wiping that up. And then that leads to putting the clothes away that are laying out on my bed. And I'm like, what? How did I get here? I have to do work right now.
Yeah.
But when I'm in my office space, that does not happen because I am in the zone where I work. Now, we all don't have like dedicated spaces for that, but we can take those concepts and say, you know, would it have been better for me to just put up a sign like, where are you going? What are you doing? Like something that would work for me as just a barrier to those things that I might just do without even thinking about it. It is just distracting. So finding a space where you can, Also, they suggest playing like some background music or getting up earlier and making sure that the space is free from distraction.
Yeah.
So if I were to still be working in the camper, I think what I would have to do is wake up earlier, get all the dishes done prior, prep lunch, and then get into my work.
Yeah.
And on the days when I do work from my camper, I'll even try to make it have like a coffee shop vibe. Like I'll light a candle, I'll turn on some music, and make sure that what is in my vision is clean.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, done, boom, I'm in the zone.
Lucky for me, I'm really good at like not paying attention to mess when I'm working.
Yes.
I
think that's what makes us such good coworkers. You're really good at ignoring mess.
I did.
Pushing through.
I folded laundry last night that had been sitting on my floor since the last time I did laundry.
Yes.
So
it happens.
I'm just very good at ignoring that. But okay, so my next favorite one on this is to change the environment by mixing with the right people. And this is sometimes a controversial one, at least for me, because I had to stop hanging out with certain people while I was paying off my debt because they were not interested in, they were not in the season where they wanted to pay off debt. So they were spending money on doing, going to expensive places and eating out and doing all of these things. And it would tempt me to spend money. So I couldn't change them because they weren't interested in being changed. So, and that's not my place. So I had to find new friends. And so this one isn't just about cutting out, it's not even toxic people. It's just like people that aren't on the same page with you in your season right now. But it's actually finding people that are on the same page with you. And I think the debt-free community on Instagram is such a powerful hashtag because it brings people together that are all doing the same thing, and maybe you're not in the same place physically. I mean, though a lot of people are and they have meetups, but we can like come together on the internet and support and encourage each other. So it's not just about cutting out people that might cause you to spend more, but finding people to encourage you and keep you accountable.
Yeah. It's not just about cutting out. It's about feeding into. Like, and that's only if you're realizing it is really knocking you off of your motivation or getting at your goals. Like, you can absolutely be friends with people who are not trying to pay off their debt, as long as it's not causing you to go into further debt. So that's where the line is. So you can hang out and be friends with people who don't exercise, but if they're giving you a hard time about exercising, then that's when you want to reevaluate.
Or not even a hard time, but they're just like, hey, we're going out for pizza. Come on, skip your workout. It's fine. That's somebody you have to cut out of your life for a season. And here's the thing with the friends that I'm talking about, we remained friends. I just had to, block them on social media and not physically hang out with them. But then now that we are done paying off our debt, they are in a season where they are paying off debt. And so they're being fiscally responsible. And now we hang out a lot. And so it's not something where you need to cut people out of your life. You just need to be honest with where you are and where they are and be patient. And it may not be forever. It may be forever, but it might not be.
Yeah. Okay. I like number 4 on here too, which is use the location hack. So I mentioned, I referenced this a little bit with the first article, but again, making things as easy as possible for yourself. So this is where they use the example of floss. If you want to form a habit to floss your teeth, if you want to be motivated to floss, put floss next to your toothbrush. Put pre-cut floss next to your toothbrush. If you want to be drinking more water, put water in a water bottle right next to you at your desk. Don't make it difficult to have to, Yeah, if you are watching us on YouTube, Jen and I both have our waters. Sip,
Right
sip.
here. Yeah, make it stupid easy.
Yeah. Accessible. Like that was within reach, so I'm able to drink a ton of water. I'm also real thirsty all the time.
It's warm in Florida.
Yeah.
It does make you drink water more.
I'm always thirsty though. What else did you like on here?
I mean, that was it for me. Did you have anything else?
That's it. You know what that means.
Oh, yes. It's time for the
Bill of the Week.
That's right. It's time for the best minute of your entire week. Maybe a baby was born and his name is William. Maybe you paid off your mortgage. Maybe your car died and you're happy to not have to pay that bill anymore. Duck bills, Buffalo Bills, Bill Clinton. This is the Bill of the Week.
Hey, my name's Lorna. This may seem totally trivial, but I had to make a reprint of a photograph, so I scanned it and then sent it to CVS. Its original price was 33 cents. Whoopee! But I happen to have a Honey app, and Honey took it down 10% to a quarter. Well, I also have Rakuten, so I'm getting 4% cash back for that. Plus, I have Ibotta, so I scanned my receipt and got 20 cents. So my 33-cent photo reprint came down to, let's see, 25 cents minus 20 cents is 5 cents minus the projected penny that I get back from Rakuten. It came out to, oh wait, I forgot the tax. It was 26 cents. So it came out to 5 cents total. Anyway, I know that's crazy, but using all those gadgets online can really save you some money if this was a much bigger ticket item. So I hope you like my Bill of the Week. Again, I'm Lorna. I guess you need to reach me. That would be Clan, C-L-A-N, McLynn, M-C.
Oh, Lorna. Oh, it cut off. But that just goes to show, if that was a bigger purchase, then she could have saved, like, significant money.
Right. But I love that she saved significant money proportionally. Right? We've talked about this. What you do with little, you'll do with much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lorna is doing with little what we all could also be doing with much.
And she's made it
Saving
easier
pennies.
for herself to save money because she's got the apps on her phone. She has Ibotta and Rakuten already there. So it'll show you like what your savings will be. So she doesn't have to do a lot of effort looking for savings. She set up systems that savings almost come to her.
Yeah. And
so I think that's a great kind of segue from what we've been talking about with motivation and just into this Bill of the Week, where Lorna has not even heard this episode and she's already taken the steps to make the rituals, to make the habit of savings easier. So thank you, Lorna.
Thanks, Lorna. It's not silly. That's so fun.
Yeah.
5 cents for a picture. Well done.
If you have a Bill of the Week you want to share with us, no bill is too trivial. Get that out of your head. We love them all. Please visit frugalfriendspodcast.com/bill, and you can leave us a SpeakPipe or Google Voice, and we will play it on air.
And now it's time for the lightning round. Pew, 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 pew. You guys, we told you that we told you, just wait for the lightning round. It's going to be the most exciting thing ever. And here's what we got for you.
Girl,
I'm about to pay off my debt.
Jill's going to do her debt-free scream. She's going to pay off the debt and do the debt-free scream.
I'm going to pay off my debt on this podcast episode because it's episode 100, because we're video recording it, because my husband's right here, and because I got the window up and the money to spend.
100% debt free.
Not yet. Okay, Eric's going to come over and he's going to be on the podcast for a minute. Definitely check this out on YouTube too if you want to see. Here we go. We're making our last payment on our debt, and then we will be debt free in these final moments.
And then we'll be rich automatically.
Automatically.
Right?
What do you think? Do you want to click it together?
This is cute.
If that means something to you.
I mean,
the problem is we're going to right click by accident.
It was all mostly my debt.
It's a trackpad.
Should I? Yeah, you got to press over here too. Ready?
Here, you press my finger.
This is like cutting the cake. 1, 2, 3. Ah! Did it go through?
There it is.
I'm debt free, you guys!
We did it.
Oh, congratulations, you guys.
Yes.
You did it. Oh my god.
Oh. And I'm
What
hugging
can
Jen
I
now
buy?
too.
Oh, yes.
Okay, you guys, so I wanted to share that with you because honest to goodness, I think a lot of the reason that we are at this point is because of this community. Certainly we had this goal previously, but I think I went harder at it than I would have without this podcast, without this community. So when I realized that we were close to paying off our debt, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do it on the podcast with our community present and listening. So thanks for sharing in this with me.
Oh my gosh. I'm so many feels.
Yeah.
This is so exciting. I am excited. You're excited.
I can't believe it. What a great lightning round.
Yeah. This is probably my favorite lightning round that we've ever done.
I don't know if anything will be able to top it. Like,
Girl, congratulations. If
Thank you.
Please get into our Frugal Friends community on Facebook and give Jill some love. If you're watching on YouTube, please give Jill some love in the comments. And we would love to know how much debt you're trying to pay off too.
So I actually also, this is what's going to just make this lightning round even better. I want to pay it forward. And Eric and I have talked about this. We're both on the same page with it. I have an incentive for you. If you are currently on your debt payoff journey, I want to give you a small boost. So here's how you do this. Subscribe to our Frugal Friends YouTube channel because now we're on video. So go to our Frugal Friends YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button and then comment on this video. It's episode 100 with how much debt you're paying off. I'm going to select one winner by March 26th to get a $50 Amazon gift card. So $50 on Amazon so that you can spend it on something you might have already purchased and then put that $50 towards your debt.
Yeah, right. Of course.
But I can't figure out a better way to kind of send you some money. So it'll be a $50 Amazon gift card. Again, I'm just going to pick one person because I'm paying it forward, but I'm not rich. I'm not that rich
Girl,
yet.
Right. Now you have
I'm
no
so
money.
excited though, and I want to share this excitement with you, and I know that it takes a lot of work and motivation. So I hope that my energy and excitement can provide you some motivation, and I also hope to encourage one of you out there with just a small boost towards your debt payoff story.
Yes. So if you are listening when this goes live on March 20th, you have until March 26th, 2020. We will be selecting a winner at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please head to Frugal Friends on YouTube, subscribe, leave a comment on this video, and Jill will select a winner on Thursday.
Yeah, cool.
Yes. So thank you all again for being here and listening to this podcast for, God, 100. 100
No
episodes.
better way to celebrate 100 episodes.
Man.
Thanks for being here for me, you guys. You are so much of the reason that I paid off my debt, so I'm so grateful.
And I am so grateful as well. This podcast has changed our lives, and we don't say that inconsequentially.
So yeah, we talk about motivation. Community is a lot of that motivation. So please do connect with us on our Frugal Friends community Facebook group. There's so much just energy and people talking about this kind of stuff, which also helps to produce motivation.
Yes. And we do appreciate you guys sharing the podcast and leaving reviews. It helps people find us so that we can keep doing this and we can get better paying sponsors so that we can maintain this without going broke. So to show our thank you to you, we just want to read one review today. And it's Bon Dia from Curacao. She says, I appreciate... Caraco?
I think that's how you pronounce
it. TBD. I appreciate this podcast so much. I get my frugal dose in while listening to two fun ladies. I need more fun frugal friends in my life. As a military spouse and a stay-at-home mom of 4, I am always looking for ways to enjoy life frugally. We're currently stationed on the very expensive island of Curacao or Caraco. I think it's Curacao. And your podcasts have brought needed direction and joy into my day. Thank you. You are welcome.
Yes.
We are.
Thanks for that review.
Yes, we love it.
So we also want to thank all of our friends who share these episodes on social media. So when you share the latest episode, it has to be the latest one, tag us on Facebook or Instagram. We will add you to our monthly drawing. For every 5 tags and reviews we get each month, we're giving away one $10 Amazon gift card. So you're just getting all kinds of opportunities to be making some money with
Bezos
Amazon.
Is getting our money because we're giving it to you.
Yes.
So keep leaving us those reviews. You can screenshot them and email them to frugalfriendspodcast@gmail.com. And keep tagging us on Instagram and Facebook. And we'll be giving away those little tokens of our gratitude and appreciation to you. Yeah, man. 100.
100 episodes. 100 more to go. And beyond.
And we're done.
See you next week for 101. Okay, I'm looking up how to pronounce it. Curacao. How did you say it?
Curacao.
Oh, wow.
It's Curacao.
What's Caraco then?
Caraco.
It's Morocco with a C.
Or Caracas, Venezuela. Morocco. You've combined Morocco and Caracas.
Whatever, I'm debt free now. Whatever, it's episode 100 and I'm debt free.
You can just go there and ask them how to say it.
Right. After 2.5 years of being debt free, you'll start caring about other people's countries where they live. Again.
It's an island.
And it's a country though, too.
Okay.
Right? Is it?
I don't know. Curacao. Wow.
Ask 10 people, you'll get 10 different pronunciations. So I guess we're not off.
Well, somewhere out there, there's somebody giving us a nice review and paying off debt.
Yeah.
But do you know how I know that it's Curacao?
Tell me.
Because that's where blue Curacao comes from, the liquor.
Oh. I just always would have called it blue Caraco.
Yeah.
That's what I want in my drink.
Right? Turns things blue.
How are we going to celebrate? Oh my gosh, how are we going to celebrate?
Blue drinks.
Let's do something.
Let's go to the beach.
Let's go to the beach.
Okay, bye.
We in Florida. Let's go to
Bye.
the beach. Bye. I'm debt free. I'm debt free now.